Today we're learning the ultimate mind reading card trick. From a shuffled deck of cards, they think of a card, you know what it is. That's it. There's no weird procedures, you don't ask any questions, you just know the card that they're thinking of. I know it sounds too good to be true, it's one of my favorites, it gets great reactions, and before we learn it, I want you to see a performance, so here it is. Before we start this, I want you to see that all the cards are different, right? 52 cards, all different. Remember your name?
Chloe.
Chloe. Grab the cards, Chloe, give them a mix. You know how to mix cards?
No.
Well, try your best. You might learn something today. That looks great. And Chloe, as I go through these cards, I want you to just think in your mind of any card that you see. You've mixed them, so I don't know where any of the cards are. So as I show them to you like this, Chloe, just think of any card that you see. Don't say anything when you have it, just as I go through. Do you have one yet? Mm-hmm. You have one that you're thinking of? Okay, don't say a word, don't tell me what it is, don't tell anybody what it is. I'll cut them into the deck so I don't even know what the options were. Focus on that card for me. Now, this is very difficult for me because in most card tricks, you take a card out physically. In this one, you didn't, you just thought of it in your mind. So it's a lot more challenging. Here's what's gonna happen. I wanna have a rough idea of where it is in the deck. So as I go through the cards, just look for it. Don't say a word when you see it, just look for it, okay? Here we go, I'm gonna go through a whole bunch of cards. I won't look at them, I won't look at her, I will look away. I'll just do this. Go through like a whole bunch like this. Have you seen the card yet?
Yes.
You have? Okay. I'm not even gonna look at the cards you saw. I'm gonna give these cuts, mix them up. I just wanted you to have a rough idea of where it was. We're gonna try this. This is crazy. I have no idea what the card is. I have no idea what cards you saw. Focus on your card. Here we go. And guys, think about this. She's only thinking of the card. I'm gonna stop right there. Right there. Chloe, you're the only person in the world who knows this. In a loud, clear voice, tell everyone the card that you were just thinking of.
10 of hearts.
10 of hearts.
Yes.
This is crazy. I don't even know what that next card is. I have no idea if this worked. 10 of hearts?
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed that performance. What we're learning today is one of my absolute favorite mind reading tricks with a deck of cards, borrowed cards. It's a version, my version, of a trick called Out of Sight, Out of Mind by Vernon, who was arguably the best card magician who ever lived. And he had a version of this, which was absolutely brilliant, changed my life, but it had an extra step that I wanted to get rid of, and I did, and I made it simpler, and this is the version that I do now. I swear by this. When somebody hands me a deck of cards and wants to see a mind reading trick, this is the one I will do most of the time. I love it. Now, this is not something that is technically difficult. In fact, technically there are like 2 moves and they're both extremely easy. Where this gets a little tricky is the process that you have to remember depending on what happens. But it's really easy if you follow along. I highly recommend having cards in hand, but if you don't, you'll still get what's going on. Let's take a look at it step by step. So as you saw in the video, this is done with a normal deck that is shuffled before you begin by the spectator, which means that when they're done, 6 random cards are gonna end up at the top. You're not gonna know what they are, you don't need to know what they are, but for this explanation, I've placed the ace through 6 of hearts just for you to be able to follow what's happening. That's the only reason these are at the top. So the deck is shuffled, you take the cards back, and you tell them, since the cards are shuffled, I can't know the order of anything. I'm just gonna show you some cards. Think of any card that you see. Just think of it, don't say a word. Now you just show them slowly the top 6 cards. And when you get to the 6th, you ask, do you have one in your mind yet? 98% of the time, they say yes. I can't remember the last time somebody said no, because if you go slowly, that's a lot of time for them to think of a card. If they say no, you just get rid of these 6 cards and do it again with 6 other cards. It's as simple as that. Now, if they say yes, which is most of the time, they're thinking of one of these 6 cards. You don't know what they are, and it doesn't matter. Here's what you do. You put the cards down and you place 3 of them down, then your pinky goes on top of those 3, and you add the other 3 on top like that. So I'm holding what's called a pinky break under 3 cards. Now you're gonna do what's called a double undercut. Basically, you're gonna get those 3 cards to the bottom. Your thumb is gonna come over, your right thumb, hold that opening like this. You're gonna grab half the cards from the bottom here, cut them to the top, then bring all the rest to the top. And what you've done with that process is you've put the 3, the 2, and the 1, basically the first 3 options at the bottom. Again, it wouldn't be these 3, just 3 of the cards they could be thinking of are now at the bottom. You hold the cards like this, so that just kind of looked like you showed them some cards and then mixed them into the deck, so you can't possibly know what they're thinking of. Now you need to add 1 random card to the bottom of the deck. Here's how I do that. I say, now I want you to think about this. Most card tricks have you take a card out, but you didn't. You just thought of one. So in saying that, I just grabbed a random card and put it at the bottom. Before we go on, let's see the situation. At the bottom you have a random card. Then you have, in this case, the ace, the 2, and the 3, or 3 of the cards they could have chosen. Then you have the rest of the deck, and then at the top you have the 3 other cards they could have chosen. Make sure you can get to this point pretty easily. Now that the cards are in that order, and they don't know, they just think they thought of a card and you mixed it in. You could do some fake shuffles or fake cuts if you know how. At this point, you need to find any reason to show them the deck. Any reason at all. Now in the video, I said something like, I just want you to see where the card is. It doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know why I said that. I had some sort of brain fart. Usually I say this, I go, to really build a strong image in your mind, I just want you to see that card one more time. But you could find any reason to do this. But here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna turn the cards over and you're gonna go through them. And to them, it's just gonna look like you're showing them some of the cards, but here's what you're doing actually. In your mind, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're pinching 7 cards down just like this. There's no real technique here. You're just holding that bunch. And then you're spreading to about half the deck, like that. And you're asking the most important question of this trick. You're asking them, did you see your card yet? Now the answer to that question is gonna determine where you go from here. I'm gonna cover both options separately. So let's assume at this point you've asked, have you seen your card yet? And they say yes. Well, they don't know this, but you know that their card is either the 2nd, the 3rd, or the 4th. Here's what you do. You've held that spot after the 7th card. You cut there, you place these cards on top, like this, and now, because you did that, because you held that 7th card and now you brought it to the top, you know for a fact that their card is either the 4th, the 5th, or the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. That has to be their card because they said they saw it. Now let's go back to what you would do if they say they haven't seen their card. So you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You kept going like this. You said, have you seen your card? They say no. Now you know that their card is one of the top 3. Now you don't show them that. Instead of bringing the cards to the top like this, which is what you would do if they had said yes, you just let go, you close the deck up, you say, never mind that, I still think I can do this. With your thumb, you peel 3 cards off, 1, 2, 3, and you throw them on top. And you turn the deck like this, and that's super casual. Now, once again, their cards are in the 4th, 5th, or 6th position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So either way, whether they say yes or no, the process you're gonna follow will put the 3 potential cards that they're thinking of in the 4th, 5th, or 6th position from the top of the deck. But you don't know what they are, and it doesn't matter, because here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna put the cards down on the table, and you're gonna start taking cards one at a time from the top of the deck into your palm. And you're gonna do it like this to where they're slightly tilted towards you. You take the first one, then the second one, and you really make it seem like you're focusing and really trying to figure out what their card is and where it is. That's 3. On the 4th one, you're gonna do 2 things. The first is you're gonna look at what it is. Now don't be obvious about it, just on the way to your left hand, you're gonna slightly tilt it towards you and get a look at what it is. Now I see that it's the 4 of hearts, but it won't be. It'll be a random card that you're gonna see there. Just remember what it is. The second thing you're gonna do is, as you place it on the packet in your left hand, you're gonna put your pinky under the card like this. So it's holding that spot. The fifth one, you're gonna look at as well, and you're gonna add to that 4th card. So you're gonna look at it. I see it's the 5 of hearts, but again, subtly look at it and place it on top of that 4th. And I like to do that to make sure that everything is square. So my pinky is now under 2 cards, but from the front, they can't see that. Now I focus. Sometimes I say, no, you know what? I'm gonna stop right there. Now here's the important thing. I don't say I'm gonna stop there, and I don't say I'm gonna stop here. I just say, I'm gonna stop there. Now you're gonna ask, what was your card? And you're gonna hear one of 3 things. You're either gonna hear the 4th card that you saw, that is directly above your pinky. You're either gonna hear the card you added to it, right there, the 5 of hearts in this case, or you're gonna hear a card that you haven't seen, that isn't one of these 2. If they name a card that you haven't seen, you know it's the next one. And that is the best case scenario, because you drop these cards, you get rid of them, and you say, I don't even know what that next card is. Nobody does. And you turn it over. In my performance, that's what happened, and it gets sick reactions. If they name the 5th card, so I say, what was your card? In this case, they say 5 of hearts. I drop that pinky, opening, just get rid of it. And I say, you could have thought of any card. I had no idea what it was. Boom, 5 of hearts. And if they say 4 of hearts, well, we have that pinky break under there. And again, I say, there's no way I could have known what this was. And now I'm gonna turn over 2 cards, which is called a double lift or a double turnover. And I will leave a couple of links in the description where you could learn some amazing technique on how to make that look real good. Okay guys, so there it was. Remember to go back and follow that process a couple of times until you could just make it second nature and you don't have to think about it. And when you do that, you will have a miracle on your hands. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Let me know what you thought about the trick in the comments. When you go out and do this, let me know in the comments how it went. Please remember to subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I will see you on the next one.